Hi, good morning. It's a good start to trade at the start of the week for equity markets here in India, and that's possibly on account of a few reasons. Let's enumerate them. The first is that you have quite good cues coming from overseas. The Asia Pacific market is looking quite strong, and that's on the back of a good close for Wall Street at the end of the week. Now, the Indian markets, the benchmark indices gaining about 0.5%. About an hour and a half into trade, we're holding on to those levels. Currently, Nifty trading at 15,773. There are a few people who said that the downside risks are capped at 15,700 or thereabouts, perhaps to a certain extent building on momentum, or will build on momentum from here on out. We can't say. The other factors, of course, are going to be earnings, and we'll come to that in just a short while. But let's also talk about the broader markets. At this point, they're continuing to outperform the benchmark indices. You have the mid cap index that's gaining about 0.7%, small cap index that's up about 0.9%. If I look at the sectoral picture also, you have banks that are looking very strong, about 0.8% higher. You have auto that's looking reasonably strong too, about 0.9% higher for the Nifty auto. Realty really takes the cake today, up about 3.3% in the early part of today's trading session. Metals and media up about 0.33%. IT is looking just a tad bit weaker than everybody else, but still gaining about 0.2%. And pharma is the relative underperformer, up only about 0.1%. But let's get into some of the individual names. If I look at the Nifty 50, you have the cement companies that are right on top, gaining over 2.5%. Ultratech Cement about 2.7%. Shree Cement up about 3.3%. They've been buzzing off late and they've looked particularly strong. Maruti Suzuki up about 1.5%. It has announced that it will be undertaking a price hike for its Swift variant, as well as its CNG models, up to as much as 15,000 rupees as of today. And this is in light of the commodity price increases that they've had to contend with, along with all of the other manufacturers over the course of the last year or so. Let's quickly read through some of the other names then. Tata Consumer looking strong. Grasim is looking strong. ICICI Bank, SBI, Axis, I mentioned the banks are looking reasonably good. Among the losers, you have Bajaj Finserv, that's losing about 0.7%. Bharti Airtel, BPCL, Hindustan Unilever, Hindalco, HDFC Bank, and Tech Mahindra are the other losers. Not too many to speak of in trade today. Some factors that you have to watch out for. Earnings clearly in focus. Avenue Supermarts reported earnings over the weekend, and the impact of the second wave of the pandemic was very clearly visible. That stock is down about 1.5% in trade today. The big earnings down the stretch. Infosys will be watched out for later in the week, and that's on account of what we saw with TCS. IT clearly in focus as well. And shares of small finance banks were in focus today, and they're all gaining on the back of the RBI's decision to allow them to begin the process of merging with their holding companies. Equitas Holdings jumped as much as 20%. You had Equitas Small Finance Bank that gained about 18% or thereabouts. Ujjivan gained about 20%. Ujjivan Small Finance Bank climbed as much as 11% in the early hour of trade. IDFC also gained about 13.7%, while IDFC First Bank was up as much as 2%. Jeffries said in a note that the RBI's decision is a positive for the listed holding companies, which are currently trading as a discount, as most holding companies do. Now, inflation data is going to be key to watch. That will come out later today. Of course, that is in an overarching sense, a macro sense. It's not going to affect companies directly, but rupee and bond traders are clearly going to watch out for that. We've seen prices increase. The impact of higher fuel costs may just be very key to watch in the latest inflation print. That's how we're looking this morning. It's looking reasonably good. Let's see how that pans out over the course of this week.